I just did 20 years. I was there. I was there for the whole situation that happened with Kodak.
No, I don't condone PC. It's if you check into PC voluntarily, it ain't no coming back from it.
Once you check PC, man, like you a sucker in all the real eyes across the world, bro.
How do you know he's in PC? Because he didn't come on the yard?
Or because one thing, the officer's going to get you from the PC unit, walk you through the unit to the shoe. So when they say secure the compound, everybody's going to come to the door, they looking, and they looking out the window. Oh shit, that's Buddy, that's dude.
And you see this with your own eyes, you see?
Yeah, you watching this. He made a conscious decision on his own to check himself in, just like he made a conscious to call his mother and be like, they don't have a drug program here. I can't speak as far as like, what his mind frame was at the time, because he wasn't in his mind frame, because like I said, he was kirking out on the K2. He wasn't himself. And you know where that come from?
When you say cooking out on the K2, what's that?
Like when you start having episodes, throwing up, you getting violent, you barking like a dog, you making animals, noises, you locking up.
For those who don't remember, this is OG Freeze. Initially introduced to the world as BG cellmate due to them doing time in the same United States federal prison. With over 30 years in, he's done time with some of the biggest and most famous prisoners alive, which includes Supreme McGriff, BMF member J-Rock, Craig Pettis, T-Man out the Calio, as well as today's topic, Kodak Black.
I just did 20 years. I was there. I was there for the whole situation that happened with Kodak. I know exactly what happened.
I was looking at the page yesterday. Some conversation about Kodak Black. What's going on with that situation?
After I seen the interview on Drinking Champs where he said something about Big Boy, he said something about T.I., he get into it with 21 Savage, he get into it with Lotto. Tell the people the truth, like what's really going on, because you point fingers at certain people, but you're not really addressing your own actions at what you did. And especially at that particular time, because at that time, he already was getting into it with T.I. about certain little stuff, saying little remarks about him and Tiny. He also made a statement disrespecting Nipsey about disrespecting, I guess, Laura London or something like that at that particular time. Mm-hmm. When you make a statement like that he made, he had upset a lot of Crips. That was another thing that he had to face coming out on a penitentiary yard, because in the penitentiary, all the Crips are together, along with the Bloods. So the Crips and Bloods was together. During this particular situation, this also got to be dealt with or politicked out with the Crips with him coming on the yard, because they together.
Kodak was in Big Sandy, like I told you on your first interview. He was in Big Sandy. And during this particular time, this was COVID. So basically everybody locked behind the door. You feel me? Like, they didn't have it to where everybody was on the yard. So he never would have really just been on the yard. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have been on the yard. He wouldn't have to deal with everybody, because most of the population was locked down due to COVID. So for him to request PC and go to PC under those type of circumstances makes you look as a rapper that's supposed to be street, like a weak ass, just being frank. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not just that. He had situations to where the Crips was on his line because of the stuff that he had said about, Nipsey and Laura London. He had that going on, and he had a situation going on where, like I said, he had a sex charge pending on him in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So you're going into a high max facility where you can't walk the yard with no sexual allegations on you. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't walk the yard anyway.
Say, with all those charges you say he had, those prior charges he had, I mean, he was a sitting duck not going PC though, right?
Not really, because it's COVID. So all of us are behind the door. Like, for you to be coming from what you're coming from and to speak on that shit and knowing that you went PC, my nigga, that ain't no good look on you, man.
This interview was uploaded at least 2 years ago, way before the feud between Kodak and Boosie even started. And you don't have to listen closely to hear and see what's really going on. The same prison that Kodak went PC in, OG Freeze was there and able to witness a great percentage of the time Kodak spent there.
When you come into Big Sandy, the first thing you do is you have to go into a quarantine unit. And you have to stay in a quarantine for 2 weeks before they allow you out into the population, because you're coming from another prison and they want to make sure you don't have it. So for you to go PC under these conditions, when you already is damn near the whole compound is locked down, you ain't even facing nobody.
So he come out of quarantine after them 2 weeks. How do you know he's in PC? Because he didn't come on the yard?
Or because one thing, the officer's going to get you from the PC unit, walk you through the unit to the shoe. It's a long walk. That's what they call it in the federal system. Like, man, take that walk, make that left. So when you walk in, they gotta secure the whole compound. Secure the compound, they're gonna announce it over there, secure the compound, secure the compound. So now when they secure the compound, people's gonna come to the door and they're gonna see you walking from the people come from the yard. The compound officers are gonna come in the unit because they don't work the unit. They come in, grab you, and have to escort you past everybody along the walk to walk you to the shoe. So when they say secure the compound, everybody's gonna come to the door, they looking, and they looking out the window. Oh shit, that's Buddy, that's dude. Where you going? Like, so this is the type of buzz you're gonna get around the prison. So now, just go find the door. We got our ways of communicating. People are gonna communicate certain stuff to people that's on the yard and that's on the compound. You know what I'm saying? In prison, everybody got different, communicating different ways.
And you see this with your own eyes. You see?
Yeah, you watching this. He made a conscious decision on his own to check himself in, just like he made a conscious to call his mother and be like, they don't have a drug program here. They putting their hands on me. You feel what I'm saying? This type of situation. So that's why I said the detailed part as far as they had a drug program. Big saying I taught the drug program. I taught it.
He was making those statements because he was trying to leave, trying to get out of there.
Or whatever he was doing. I don't know. I can't speak as far as what his mind frame was at the time, because he wasn't in his mind frame, because like I said, he was kirking out on the K2. He wasn't himself. And you know where that come from?
When you say cooking out on the K2, what's that? Like
when you start having episodes, throwing up, you getting violent, you barking like a dog, you making animals, noises, you locking up. Because a lot of that stuff when you smoking chemical. So when you smoke the chemical, people have a different reaction to the chemical that they smoking. So sometimes people don't be in their right mind. It's looked down upon by other inmates in the prison. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like you're a crackhead. That's how people look at you when you smoke K2. Your respect level drops because you got dudes that's doing K2, these type of dudes, they cleaning cells, they washing dudes' drawers and socks. They do a lot of stuff to degrade themselves. So this is the type of image that you come from TV to this phase. So now me not knowing you, I only see this character. So I just want to use that particular incident. Not, like I said, it ain't no beef towards him or nothing like that. I just wanted the kids to know that you have to separate entertainment from reality, because the entertainment is not going to tell you themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to tell you that this is not a lifestyle that you have to choose. You feel what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I respect Lil Scrappy. I respect Lil Scrappy because it was an interview he did one time. And one of the things Lil Scrappy mentioned about was his experience in Fulton County Jail. He was saying his experience that he experienced in jail helped change who he was. He realized he didn't want no part of prison. The extra mattresses was cool, he said. The extra food, the little bit of attention that you getting, yeah, all this cool, but jail ain't, this ain't for me. I'm gonna do my reality TV thing and I'm gonna get my money like this.
He said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I respect that. Let me know you mature as a man. You know what I'm saying? The songs he was making, crunk. He was doing crunk music. Black and Wild Kids was feeding into that. But to come from that, to be from that stage of his life and to be able to distinguish and say, man, I don't want no part of jail.
Even as a rapper, right?
Even as to say that. That's a man. I respected that, and I looked at him in a whole new light when I heard that interview. Man, ain't nothing cool about jail. Nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't nothing cool about jail. Everybody ain't built for that. Even in the prison system, we know certain people ain't fighters. My homeboy may not be a fighter, but he mind his business. He looking at TV. I'm gonna take up for him. He ain't a fighter. I am though. So you can come in and be yourself and be real, and there's dudes that's around that's gonna treat you accordingly and treat you how you carry yourself. If this man going to commissary, sitting in front of the TV, minding his business, he's not gambling, he's not participating in drug activity or whatever that's going on in the prison, then you're really not gonna bother that man. Most stuff that happen to people in prison is supposed to happen to them because they don't disrespect to somebody. You feel what I'm saying? And respect level in the pen is real high. It's real high.
One of my first interviews with you, I had spoke on Kodak Black going PC when we was in Big Sandy. So I got to side with Boosie on this one. because real nigga gotta hit the yard. You feel me? Especially if you branding yourself as a street nigga, and this is what you marketing. So you don't want to be influencing people to do shit, and then when it's on you, and it's your turn, you go PC. You feel me?
Right.
I seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was witness to him going to PC. That's why I spoke on it when I first came out. That makes you look scary and makes you look like a hoe.
Did you have any run-ins with him while he was there?
No, we can't. We behind the door, and we seeing him behind the door. You feel what I'm saying? So because all of us are behind the door.
Okay.
So we can only look from our room and see him going where he going. You feel what I'm saying? Nobody really had access to it. So for you to go PC under them circumstances is weird.
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
You're not going to be on PC because of who you are as a celebrity. That is not all the time. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like in the federal system, because as you can see, R. Kelly on the yard. And I don't think Kodak bigger than R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's the difference between administrative segregation and PC being protective custody. Now, if you have certain people that get placed under administrative seg, it's not their fault. It's not that they requested PC. The administration looks at you as a threat to not just inmates, but they may look at you as a threat towards staff. You know what I'm saying? Because the influence you can have on influencing staff members or compromising staff, as they would say in there. You know what I'm saying? You got the capabilities of compromising staff.
Right.
So you're not requesting PC. PC is a request. You're requesting protective custody. You're requesting that. So I just want people to know it's the difference between administrative seg and PC.
Say, bro. So what was the issue? What's the fuss with all this shit right now? Saying something like Boosie made a statement about Kodak Black being on PC or some shit. Like, how did all that start?
Yeah, he made a statement about, I guess him and Boosie, Kodak was taking shots at Boosie. And that's one of the replies that Boosie had was, you know what I'm saying, about, he brought up Kodak being on PC. Like, basically, put him in check. You talking that street and this gangster shit, but you went PC when you was locked up.